I think the development of the new JCM, the conversion module, has been a pretty significant step for the business, both from a technology and cost base of being able to reduce our manufacturing costs of our conversion kits and time of doing conversions. The battery partnership with Electrovaya has been very good with the new battery packs coming out. That's we're going to see them release in early in 26. So I think that development there in our battery technology is a really good thing for our fleets and our customers, but also adding value to the overall investment in Genus. And the other part is just the development of our people. We're moving from R&D prototyping first concept into scaled manufacturing now. So a lot of the time and effort gone into systems and programs within our business is really starting to hit its strides. So it's all shaping up well for 2026. Look, I think the way our trucks are performing in the field now, and what we're seeing in the data out of our trucks, we've got trucks now running from Goulburn, west of Sydney into Sydney, doing 360 kilometres on the highway in a day now, has been sort of pushing the limits of our technology in batteries and seeing what that does and what the value that's added for our clients. And also the move into our new factory. We've moved into a larger facility with designated production lanes, and really, for us, it's pretty proud of we're pretty proud of where we've moved to and what we've done. And it's just the beginning of a really good manufacturing story for Australia. So that's probably the top highlights for me so far. Yeah, look, Genus has got a good cash runway. We've got the completion, and you would have seen in an update that we did recently of in Q1, we will complete with Avuni for the African market, which is another injection of equity into the business that will help provide a very good cash runway well until the future with Genus. We're in a really good, strong position. We've got good demand both now in export markets and domestic markets for our product, and we see the scale up of orders coming pretty quickly in 2026, based on what we've seen in the last 2 months in the business. Look, I think obviously the initial export orders into Africa will be one of the top pieces of what we're doing with that African market. It's a big truck market. It's 4 times the size of the Australian market. We've also got the export orders landing in the US in the first quarter of next year. So we'll see those trucks in operation, I'd say, in the second calendar year quarter there with Ability Trimodal, which is a pretty exciting thing, and it'll be a big release in the US. We'll see a more of an export focused orientation of the business in 26 into different markets. We've got a lot of interest out of Canada based on their carbon tax that they're putting on their vehicles over there at $95 a tonne for CO2 emissions. So electrification is now starting to be very prevalent in that Canadian market as well, and that's roughly about 3.5 times the size of the Australian market, from about 375,000 trucks in operation in Canada. So I think we'll see strong growth in revenue and a delivering of profitability into the Genus business going forward as well too.